36-year-old Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement to face 29-year-old Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight championship on July 19th in Las Vegas. That's according to an ESPN report. Pacquiao last fought in 2021 when he lost to Yordenis Ugas. Barrios won the WBC welterweight title from Ugas in 2023.
Two big questions that have the entire boxing world scratching their heads and leaning in first. Should Manny Pacquiao even be stepping back into the ring? Second, can he actually beat Mario Barrios?
As of now, Mario Barrios is the WBC champion, so who is he mandated to fight next? Do you have made that decision yet?
Well, at this time, Mario Barrios is going to fight Manny Pacquiao in July. That's a tremendous fight. It was released, PBC. Manny Pacquiao first title was the flyweight WBC, and he wants to retire as WBC champion, so he's fighting in the welterweight division.
This isn't just a comeback. It's a full-blown spectacle. Pacquiao, once the unstoppable force across 8 weight classes, is now a 45-year-old legend chasing one last shot at glory.
Manny Pacquiao getting back in the ring again for a world title fight.
Well, obviously, it definitely has to do with money. 1. 2, I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring, man, against Ugas. You know, he didn't look good.
Meanwhile, Barrios, young and riding high on momentum, isn't here to be anyone's stepping stone. This fight isn't just about punches and titles. It's about legacy, pride, and whether time spares anyone in the ring.
Who is not so happily retired, seems to still be antsy about fighting. I was at the Andy Ruiz workout in LA this past week, and Sean Gibbons was there representing Isaac Cruz and part of that contingent.
Manny Pacquiao's comeback feels like something straight out of a Rocky movie, except this time, it's real. After a tough loss to Yordenis Ugas in 2021, most thought Pacquiao was done. But here he is again, gloves on and eyes locked on Mario Barrios and the WBC welterweight title. It's a kind of move that makes you question reality. In his last fight, Pacquiao looked slower, more labored, a shadow of the whirlwind who once dominated legends. But legends aren't made by listening to doubt. Meanwhile, Barrios isn't here to play the role of a farewell tour punching bag. He's hungry, dangerous, and packing a jab as sharp as a Mike Tyson insult. And when it comes to momentum, Barrios has plenty. While Pacquiao was attending rallies and retirement parties, Barrios was grinding in the gym, racking up rounds like rent was due. It's a classic showdown, old lion versus young predator. But this time, the lion might not have enough bite left.
Has said recently that he believes it was going to happen. What do you think of your old, foil there, Manny Pacquiao, getting back in the ring again for a world title fight?
Well, obviously, you know, it has to be pertaining to any kind of money. You know, it has to be financial. I mean, any fighter that comes back, especially from retirement, a guy like Manny Pacquiao, it definitely has to do with money.
Eddie Hearn, a sharp eye in the fight game, didn't sugarcoat it. He said Pacquiao could still beat guys outside the top 20. But that's like saying your grandpa can still drive as long as it's not on the freeway. And that's what makes this fight so controversial. Pacquiao isn't taking on some washed-up contender. He's going after a legit belt holder. Barrios is a guy who's been in the trenches recently, not someone dragging old bones back into the spotlight. Fans are split. Half are cheering like it's 2008 again, posters of Pacquiao back on their walls. The other half are cringing, worried this could end with a stretcher instead of a victory lap. You can't blame either side. Pacquiao spent his career defying the odds. But Father Time? That's one opponent no one beats. The punches sting more, the feet move slower, and recovery isn't counted in minutes anymore, it's weeks.
62, 8-2 with 39 knockouts. Barrios 29, 2-1. And for more, welcome in CBS Sports combat analyst Brian Campbell. Manny Pacquiao, the first and only 8-division world champion. He'll be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame next month. And then in July, BC is going to come out of retirement. Why now?
By the way, between those two dates, I believe he has an election coming up for a Senate position in the Philippines. So we always know that Mandy.
And here we are, a matchup that feels like a crossover episode between two boxing eras. Barrios has everything to gain and not much to lose. A win over Pacquiao could launch his name into the spotlight. A loss? He still gets to say he shared the ring with a living legend. And that's a PR win in itself. But for Pacquiao, it's all or nothing. Every jab is a flashback to his past, a reminder that legacies can be crowned or crushed in a single round. Some boxing insiders aren't holding back their opinions either. Trainer Greg Hackett, for one, called this fight what it is, a money grab. This isn't about honor, it's about paychecks. The timing, the opponent, the hype, it all screams money over sporting integrity. But let's be honest, when has boxing ever been just about the sport? Promoters are drooling, pay-per-view numbers are set to skyrocket, and the world is watching again. Hackett laid it out plainly. This fight isn't a reckless charge, it's a calculated move. If Pacquiao wanted to go out guns blazing, he'd have called out Crawford or Boots. But Barrios? That's a safer bet, still a challenge, still credible, but not so dangerous that Pacquiao ends up a meme. It's a sweet spot, risky enough to sell tickets, safe enough to keep the dream alive.
I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring, man, against Ugas. You know, he didn't look good. He was outmatched by, a fighter, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch. Barrios is a young fighter, bigger fighter, knows how to, control distance very well, can punch a little bit. Like, he's no easy task for anybody in the welterweight division. And for Manny to come back after this long and to face a young guy like that is dangerous.
Tim Bradley didn't hold back either, joining the chorus of skeptics. Bradley, who's gone toe-to-toe with Pacquiao multiple times, knows what peak Manny looks like. And he says this version isn't it. To him, the comeback is more about cash than glory. And honestly, it's hard to argue when a retired legend is handed a title shot without a warm-up. Who gets that kind of treatment unless money's calling the shots? Barrios isn't clueless either. He knows this is a golden opportunity. The young wolf invited to the king's table. But unlike those before him, he's not planning to just be a footnote. Barrios isn't there to pay respect. He's there to take the crown. Every interview, every sparring session, every drop of sweat is fueled by one goal: to beat the legend. And not just beat him, make it convincing. Meanwhile, Pacquiao is walking a tightrope between history and humiliation. If he wins, it's a fairy tale, another belt, another ovation, one last gem for a loaded legacy. But if he loses, that's the real risk. A decision loss, okay, but a knockout? That's career-ending. That's legacy-shattering. And in boxing, fans have long memories and short forgiveness.
Sports combat analyst Brian Campbell, Manny Pacquiao, the first and only 8-division world champion. He'll be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame next month. And then in July, BC is going to come out of retirement. Why now?
By the way, between those two dates, I believe he has an election coming up for a Senate position in the Philippines. So we always know that Manny is a busy man. He gets after it. He also dares to be great. And
so here we are, a fight that's more than just punches and titles. It's a crossroads, a clash of eras, and a gamble with legacies on the line. Will Pacquiao defy time once again? Or will Barrios be the one to finally close the book on the Pac-Man? Subscribe now to catch every moment, every punch, and every second of a showdown that could change everything.